Say hello to my not-so-little friend. Fat Albert is a Marine Corps C-130 that transports the crew and equipment for the Blue Angels. Once they're at the shows, Fat Albert gets to show off low-altitude tactics, real maneuvers used in combat. The crowd gets to watch, but a lucky few get to ride on Fat Albert Airlines.
Welcome to Fat Albert Airlines. I'm Major Mike Van Wyck. I'm going to be your left seat pilot today in the right seat.
After a crew and passenger brief, Marine Corps Major Mike Van Wyck invites us to board. For the Major, his tour with the Blue Angels is a dream come true.
I went to an air show when I was in second grade. I stood on the ramp of C-130 and my parents took a picture. And it was what I knew what I wanted to do at that point.
He worked hard and learned to fly after he was in the military, starting in a Cessna 152.
Aviation it's a pursuit of excellence. It's something that's fun, it's a hobby. It's cool to get up there and be in the sky and experience that world, but it's a pursuit of excellence. You're always getting better. You're always developing your skills.
And today he's going to show those skills off. I'm riding with a few other reporters and several dozen U.S. Coast Guard C-130 crew members. We take off on runway 27 at Lakeland, staying about 5 feet above the deck until we hit show center, pitch up 45 degrees. In the back, we're feeling several positive G's before nosing over at the top and experiencing several negative. It's just awesome. On the flight deck, you can see the crew goes airborne too, but they're hard at work helping this heavy lifter turn 60 degrees of bank.
I was in the left seat flying, but when I was making a right turn, I can't see my checkpoint, so the guy in the right seat was calling me on those checkpoints. When I was flying and looking at a checkpoint, he was calling my performance calls, saying if I was in a climber, descent, what altitude and airspeed I was at. And then the guy in the center seat was running the throttle to make sure I kept at the correct energy management state for that phase of flight.
It may be work, but this air crew is having a blast. In the back, they do somersaults when we hit 0 and negative G's. Marine Corps Sergeant Zach Williford is a flight engineer on Fat Albert.
Through the dynamic moves of the airplane, knowing what's coming up next and what we just did, and then being able to hold on at the right time, it's a lot of fun.
And that fun comes from all over the flight envelope.
One of the best things that we get to do with the aircraft is max performance. So we fly it to every single limitation in the book. We go from the lowest speed, possibly with 95 knots before we do the pushover, and we go 320 knots in the flat. So we go the entire range of speed. It's a pretty big delta on the speed capability, 225 knots, and then we also go to the max bank, max pitch on both up and down, and then we also go to the max G's on the aircraft. So you need to know what those limitations are. You're always refining what those feel like.
Including one of the most dramatic landings you'll ever see. The airplane comes down at 45 degrees before rounding out at the last moment. The props go into beta, the brakes smoke up the tires. And inside, feet fly over heads as our thrill ride comes to a screeching halt. And these are real maneuvers used in combat theaters around the world, demonstrated here to show the crowds at home what it's like for those who serve.
This tour was a great opportunity for me to be able to tell a story of what we did every day in the active duty fleet around the world. So the whole reason I wanted to come to team was to tell that story and to show people what we do for a living and to show what they've entrusted us with to do.
It's a powerful message told through dramatic service on Fat Albert Airlines. In Lakeland, Florida, Paul Harrop, AOPA Live.